Why do some men give everything and still lose control? Why does effort fail, honesty get ignored, and loyalty go unrewarded? Tonight, we answer one forbidden question. Why power, not love, decides who leads and who follows? Listen carefully. The greatest mistake men make when they speak of control is that they imagine it as pressure, commands, or dominance displayed loudly. Machiavelli would smile at such ignorance. Force is the language of the desperate. True power does not announce itself. It is felt before it is understood. When you try to control, you expose need, and need is the enemy of authority. Perception is the throne on which power sits. People do not respond to what you intend. They respond to what they believe you are. If a woman perceives you as centered, grounded, and unmovable, she will adjust herself around that perception. If she perceives you as anxious, eager, or fearful of loss, she will unconsciously lead, test, and dominate the direction of the relationship. This is not cruelty, this is human nature. Machiavelli observed the same law in courts, kingdoms, and alliances. The one who appears to need less always governs more. You must understand this deeply. Control is never taken. It is offered. It is given to those who seem capable of carrying it. When a man tries to control through jealousy, constant messaging, emotional reactions, or explanations, he signals instability. Instability invites challenge. Challenge invites disobedience. But when a man governs himself first, when his emotions do not betray him, when his time is valuable and his reactions measured, the dynamic shifts without a word spoken. Perception is built in moments of restraint. When you could react but choose silence. When you could chase but choose distance. When you could explain but choose clarity through action. These moments communicate strength far more loudly than declarations ever could. Machiavelli warned rulers never to reveal anxiety, because the people sense it immediately. The same law applies here. Emotional self-control creates psychological authority. A woman does not submit to power, she aligns with it. Alignment happens when she senses certainty. Certainty is not arrogance. It is calm direction. It is knowing where you stand and refusing to negotiate your worth. When you do this, her behavior begins to orbit around you, not because you demanded it, but because uncertainty seeks stability, and stability attracts loyalty. You must also recognize that perception is fragile. One emotional outburst, one moment of over-investment, one act of self-betrayal can undo months of quiet authority. This is why Machiavelli insisted that rulers be consistent above all else. Inconsistency confuses perception, and confusion destroys power. If today you are distant and tomorrow desperate, you teach others that your frame can be shaken. Once shaken, it will be tested again and again. The man who understands perception moves slowly. He does not rush intimacy. He does not overexpose his thoughts. He does not give access to his inner world without discernment. He allows curiosity to grow, because curiosity is a form of surrender. When someone seeks to understand you, they are already moving toward your frame. Remember this law well. Force creates resistance. Perception creates compliance. One lasts moments, the other reshapes behavior over time. Machiavelli did not conquer hearts with affection, nor minds with argument. He understood that the world bends not to those who push hardest, but to those who appear unshakable. And when you become the man who does not need to control, who does not fear loss, who does not explain himself away, you begin to notice a quiet shift, a change in tone, in attention, in effort, as if without command the balance of power has already moved, and the control you once chased now rests, where it always goes, in the hands of the one who remains unmoved, while others react, in the presence of the man who understands that perception is reality, and reality obeys the one who shapes perception through restraint. silence, and self-mastery as the world slowly rearranges itself around him without resistance, without force, without words, as he stands firmly rooted, while everything else moves in his center and continues moving. Because nothing need to stop when certainty feels like gravity, poverty pulling everything inward, without effort, without noise, without asking. Understand this: before anything else, desire is not born from abundance. It is born from absence. Machiavelli observed that people value most what they fear losing, not what is freely given. The same law governs attraction, attention, and emotional investment. When something is always available, it becomes invisible. When it is uncertain, limited, or restrained, it becomes powerful. Most men destroy desire by overexposure. They speak too often, explain too much, and offer access without resistance. In doing so, they turn themselves into something predictable. Predictability kills intrigue, and without intrigue, desire withers quietly. Machiavelli warned rulers never to make themselves common, because familiarity dissolves reverence. The same rule applies here. When you are too present, too accommodating, too eager, you lower your value in the psychological marketplace of attention. Scarcity is not cruelty. It is structure. It is the discipline of knowing when to step forward and when to withdraw. A man who understands scarcity does not disappear out of fear, nor does he withhold to punish. He limits access because his time, energy, and presence are invested elsewhere. His life does not revolve around one person, and that independence is felt immediately. Independence signals strength. Strength fuels desire. The mind is drawn to what it cannot fully predict or possess. When responses are not immediate, when availability is not guaranteed, curiosity awakens. Curiosity is the seed of attachment. The more someone thinks about you in your absence, the more emotional weight you carry in their mind. Machiavelli knew that influence grows strongest when the subject begins to act without instruction. When a woman adjusts her behavior to gain your attention, when she invests more effort to secure your presence, scarcity has already done its work. Many men confuse scarcity with neglect. Neglect is careless. Scarcity is intentional. It is the difference between indifference and discipline. Indifference pushes people away. Disciplined absence pulls them closer. When your presence feels earned rather than assumed, it gains meaning. Meaning creates emotional leverage, and emotional leverage quietly shifts control. Desire thrives in tension. Not chaos, but tension. The space between what is felt and what is granted. Machiavelli understood that tension keeps people alert, invested, and compliant. When tension disappears, complacency replaces it. Complacency breeds disrespect, and disrespect erodes any form of influence. The man who removes all tension by giving everything too soon finds himself chasing reactions that no longer come naturally. Scarcity also protects your authority. When you do not rush to please, you communicate that your approval is not cheap. When approval is not cheap, it becomes valuable. People treasure what they earn. This applies not only to affection, but to attention, validation, and emotional access. The man who gives all of these freely soon finds they are taken for granted. The man who distributes them carefully finds they are sought after. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must know when to be seen and when to be absent. Presence creates connection, absence creates longing. Mastery lies in balance. Too much presence breeds familiarity. Too much absence breeds detachment, but controlled scarcity creates desire that renews itself. It keeps the dynamic alive, moving, and responsive. You must internalize this law. Desire is not logical. It does not respond to fairness or effort. It responds to perception and emotional stimulus. Scarcity sharpens both. When your time is limited, your words measured, your attention selective, the other person begins to feel that being close to you is a privilege, not an entitlement, and once that shift happens, behavior changes without negotiation, investment increases without demand, and the silence of scarcity continues to pull desire toward you as attention follows value, and value is defined by what is not always available, what must be chosen, what cannot be assumed, what exists just beyond certain constant and remains slightly minded, return again and again, slightly quite out, strong, always desire, quite appreciate, Troy, check, and put Niccolò Machiavelli, and Elfrid, Gal, husband, with low, and grow, and with those new ways, no, Ricky, and early year long, community, Kiwane, Kian, Quatman, Boyle, as I was to reach you, if you wish to understand control, you must stop looking at words and actions and begin watching emotions. Machiavelli understood that battles are rarely decided on open ground. They are decided in the unseen terrain of fear, hope, pride, and uncertainty. In relationships, the same truth applies. Whoever controls the emotional climate controls the direction of everything that follows. Most men lose power not because they lack value, but because they surrender emotional control. They react too quickly. They explain too much. They allow irritation, jealousy, or excitement to dictate their behavior. The moment emotion leads, authority retreats. Machiavelli warned rulers never to let passion guide decisions, because the crowd senses weakness instantly. A woman senses it the same way, not consciously but instinctively. Emotions are contagious. Anxiety spreads faster than confidence. Anger spreads faster than calm. When you lose emotional composure, you hand the other person the steering wheel. Your reactions become predictable, and predictability makes manipulation easy. The man who reacts emotionally is no longer acting. He is responding, and the one who responds is never in control of the narrative. Control begins with stillness. When tension rises, when conflict appears, when expectations are tested, the man who remains composed becomes the emotional anchor. People instinctively align with the one who appears unshaken. Calmness creates authority because it signals that you are not dependent on the outcome. Dependency is visible even when unspoken. Independence is felt the same way. Machiavelli observed that fear and love are both tools, but fear is more reliable because it does not depend on goodwill. In modern terms, emotional restraint is more reliable than emotional expression. When you show every feeling, you give away leverage. When you reveal selectively, you maintain it. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means choosing when emotion serves you and when it weakens you. Silence is one of the most powerful emotional weapons, not silence born of insecurity, but silence chosen deliberately. When you do not immediately react, the other person fills the space with their own thoughts. Those thoughts often work in your favor. Uncertainty magnifies emotion. The mind searches for meaning, and in that search, attachment deepens. Machiavelli knew that uncertainty keeps people engaged longer than reassurance ever could. Emotional control also means refusing to reward negative behavior. Attention is emotional currency. When you give it freely in moments of disrespect, you teach others how to treat you. When you withdraw it calmly, without anger or explanation, behavior adjusts. This is not punishment, it is consequence. Machiavelli believed that consequences shape behavior more effectively than lectures, because they operate at the emotional level, not the intellectual one. You must also learn to manage positive emotion. Overexcitement, excessive praise, constant validation can be just as damaging as anger. When you elevate someone too quickly, you lower yourself in the dynamic. Balance is key. Appreciation should feel earned, not automatic. When emotions are measured, they carry weight. When they overflow, they lose meaning. The emotional battlefield is won through consistency. One calm response does not establish authority. Repeated composure does. When you are predictable in your restraint, others stop testing your boundaries. Tests arise when people sense emotional volatility. Stability discourages challenge. This is why Machiavelli valued reputation so highly. Reputation is simply emotional memory repeated over time. Understand this clearly. You do not need to dominate emotions in others. You only need to master your own. The moment you do, the dynamic shifts quietly. Conversations feel different. Conflicts shorten. Respect increases without being demanded. Emotional self-control creates a silent hierarchy, one where leadership is assumed rather than announced. Those who lose themselves emotionally are ruled emotionally. Those who remain steady become the reference point. The battlefield is not loud, it is subtle. It is won in pauses, in restraint, in the ability to feel deeply without acting recklessly, in the discipline to choose silence over reaction, composure over impulse. As the emotional temperature of every interaction begins to adjust itself around you. Because human nature toward the one who appears in calm is established, it spreads out outward, shaping decisions, loyal influence with attraction and confidence mirroring we cannot shake a certainty they did not expect and do not know how to not challenge who do and will Machiavelli understood a truth that many refuse to accept. Attraction without respect is unstable, and instability always leads to loss of control. Desire may ignite quickly, but respect determines who leads once the fire settles. When a man seeks attraction first and hopes respect will follow, he reverses the natural order of power. And power, when reversed, punishes the mistake quietly but relentlessly. Respect is formed before affection deepens. It is created by boundaries, direction, and self-command. A man who bends himself to please invites comfort, not admiration. Comfort dulls attraction. Machiavelli observed that people admire strength even when they resist it, and they lose interest in those who surrender their position too easily. The same law governs personal dynamics. When you make yourself endlessly agreeable, you remove the tension that sustains desire. Many men believe respect is earned through kindness alone. Kindness without backbone, however, is interpreted as weakness. Respect grows when kindness is paired with firmness. When your standards are clear, when your time is protected, when your approval is not automatic. These signals communicate that you value yourself enough to expect others to do the same. Machiavelli believed that authority begins the moment people recognize that access to you is conditional. Attraction responds to direction. A man without direction invites guidance from others. A man with direction naturally becomes the reference point. When your life has momentum, purpose, and priorities beyond any one relationship, respect emerges organically. This respect is not negotiated. It is observed. A woman senses when she is entering a structured world rather than becoming the center of it. That distinction shapes her behavior immediately. Disrespect often enters quietly. It begins with small tests, subtle challenges, minor boundary violations. The man who ignores these in the name of harmony teaches others that his limits are flexible. Machiavelli warned that tolerating small offenses invites greater ones. When respect erodes, attraction follows it downward. Addressing these moments does not require anger or confrontation. It requires consistency, calm refusal, silent withdrawal of attention. The language of respect is action, not explanation. Respect also demands that you never place yourself beneath another emotionally. The moment you signal that losing her would destroy you, the balance tilts. Dependency weakens authority. Machiavelli wrote that rulers must never appear dependent on the favor of others, because dependence shifts power instantly. In relationships, emotional self-sufficiency creates stability. Stability fosters trust. Trust deepens attraction. Your values must be non-negotiable, not announced, not defended, but lived. When you compromise your principles to maintain approval, you erode your own foundation. People may stay, but they no longer admire. Admiration is the soil where attraction grows strongest. Without it, desire becomes fleeting and conditional. Respect is reinforced through absence as much as presence. When you walk away from situations that violate your standards, you demonstrate self-respect. That demonstration leaves an impression stronger than any argument. Machiavelli understood that the willingness to withdraw is a form of leverage. It communicates that your participation is optional, not guaranteed. This awareness reshapes behavior more effectively than persuasion ever could. A man who commands respect does not need to demand it. His posture, his pace, his reactions communicate it before words arrive. Attraction then follows naturally, because attraction seeks strength, certainty, and leadership. It does not cling to desperation. It does not reward self-erasure. It aligns with those who stand firm in their identity. Understand this clearly. You cannot negotiate attraction. You can only cultivate respect. When respect is present, attraction grows without effort. When respect is absent, attraction fades regardless of effort. Machiavelli saw this law play out in empires and alliances, and it plays out the same way in human connection, where those who uphold themselves are elevated, and those who abandon themselves are overtly as the balance. Quietly, attention shifts toward the man who knows what he stands for and what he will not trade with. It is claimed for consistency, discipline, confidence, action, every restraint toward the one who never placed himself beneath your one and never needed to ask for what his vessels are really nil and essential to. Who really the prince and the new king indeed. The laws you have heard are not tricks, not tactics, not manipulation. They are observations of human nature that existed long before this era and will remain long after it. Machiavelli did not invent power, he exposed it. He understood that control is never about domination, but about position, about who reacts and who remains steady, about who needs and who is needed. Power begins the moment you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying certainty. When perception favors you, force becomes unnecessary. When scarcity defines your presence, desire follows naturally. When your emotions remain governed, others lose the ability to govern you. And when respect is established, attraction no longer needs to be pursued. These laws demand discipline, not cruelty. Weak men misuse them to dominate. Strong men use them to master themselves. The difference is everything. A man who understands these principles does not fear loss, because he does not build his identity on approval. He does not beg for attention, because his absence already speaks. He does not argue for respect, because his standards enforce it silently. Most will reject these ideas not because they are false, but because they are uncomfortable. Power exposes responsibility. It removes excuses. It forces you to look inward before you attempt to influence outward. That is why few hold it, and many complain about its absence. Remember this above all else. The moment you stop trying to control others and begin controlling your frame, your time, your emotions, and your standards, the world adjusts. Relationships change, dynamics shift, attention moves. Not because you demanded it, but because power always flows toward the one who no longer needs to ask for it.